Hello everyone and welcome to After the Fact with StarCraft 2 commentary. My name is NBadDog, also known in-game as Brainwash. That's my StarCraft 2 username. And today I am bringing you a very special treat submitted to me from the clan oSa. We bring you RTY versus Vortex. This is on Slag Pits, red versus blue. This is a ladder match coming from RTY, and I don't know actually really all that much about it. It's, you know, just him laddering up. He told me it was a pretty epic game though, so that I should definitely take a look at it. Now, I am going to be trying out the hotkeys for bringing up, you know, like production tab, unit tab, rather than clicking around with my mouse all the time, just because it'll be a lot easier to get my grips on those hotkeys, much like you have to get your grips on them during the game. You know, so I was sitting around eating my lunch, and I was thinking to myself, you know, what do I want to do right now? And I thought, I feel like watching some StarCraft 2, but none of the people I watch on YouTube had submitted anything, so I thought I'd go off and cast my own game of StarCraft 2 here. And since this is the only replay I had right now, of course not knocking RTY in any way, shape, or form, I thought I'd give this cast a try. So yeah, it's Friday right now. Finally figured out all the stuff using fraps and the encoder and all that. You know, it was a bit of a mess sorting all that out, so it's good to, you know, be done that and actually be able to get out these videos pretty quickly, because before, man, was it ever taking me a while to get out these games. It's just taking me ages on to get them up to YouTube. Taking a look at the scouts, it looks like neither player has actually managed to scout the other one yet. They RTY went cross positions. I wonder if he thought this was the MOG version of Slag Pits. It isn't, as you can tell. They are close positions by air. The spawns do open up down the ramp, so it is harder to harass these spawns using air, but since we are seeing a PvP, I wouldn't expect to see any real heavy... You might see a bit of Void Ray harass, but Stalkers is just such an easy counter to Void Rays that you don't usually see them. Maybe some Immortal Phoenixes. So it looks like Vortex and RTY will be scouting their opponents at the same time. And we haven't seen too much deviation in the builds just yet, though it does look like RTY won't be choosing to get out that first Zealot, so he won't have any initial Zealot pressure, but he is throwing down an extra Assimilator, so looking for some more tech play from the oSa clan member here, whereas Vortex seems to be going a little bit more standard, getting that early Zealot out just to keep control of the ramp, and there we go, he is getting Warp Gate followed up by a Stalker, and we will be seeing some Stargate play from RTY. So he is mixing it up this game, going for something a little bit out of the ordinary, and he has decided, because it's close air positions, he's going to make me look like a complete and utter idiot, and he's going to go off and get a whole bunch of Void Rays, and go off and harass his opponent's Vortex here with that. Definitely making me look like a fool, but there you go. That is why I'm the commentator, and he's the player, right? If I could play like this, I wouldn't be commentating StarCraft. Actually, I might, just because it's kind of amusing to commentate StarCraft 2, but there you go. It does look like RTY has control of the central Xel'Naga Watchtower. It is a useful Xel'Naga Watchtower. There is still quite a bit of space to move troops back and forth across the map, though. That Xel'Naga Watchtower is definitely more practical in a cross spawns position. I guess you could pick up some really wacky shenanigans, and here we go. We are going to have some wacky shenanigans. We have a 4-gate coming down from Vortex, sticking to the age-old principle of PvP. Let's throw down a 4-gate. So there you go. We got tons of units coming out here, and it looks like he will be preparing for a push out across the map. Taking a look for Vortex's probe, though, he doesn't have anything in easy position to throw down a proxy pylon, so doesn't look like a proxy pylon will be perfectly timed with Warp Gate technology, and there you go, Warp Gate technology is now just being finished being chrono boosted out, so that'll be done. He is a little bit supply blocked, which of course is an issue. You don't want to supply block yourself when you've got a 4-gate going on. Kind of slows things down. And here we go, here comes the Void Ray. Oh, that's interesting timing from RTY there. That will delay the 4-gate significantly, and there we go, my computer's lagging a bit. I'm wondering what's running in the background. And he is forcing the pull-off of drones off the line, and there we go. It looks like the Void Ray will be moving out of there, but with 3 kills, so definitely a successful attack, especially since he managed to delay mining so much. And he doesn't know it, I don't believe, taking a look at RTY's vision. No, he hasn't actually seen that 4-gate yet, so he doesn't know that a 4-gate was coming for him. and that he remarkably enough delayed it with some Void Ray pressure, but he must be wondering just how the hell he managed to get out this many stalkers. Taking a look at RTY's army, right? He's got 1 stalker, 2 sentries. He's going to be wondering, you know, where did all those stalkers and zealots come from? Certainly he's not going to be doing, you know, totally standard 2-gate robo expand. We do have another Void Ray moving out across the map. Looks like he will be able to at least try and pin down some more of the probes, though Vortex is keeping his 4-gate force primarily back in his base, and looks like he's going to be econing up. RTY is drifting towards that 400 mineral mark, so I would expect to see a probe drift towards his expansion at some point. He is a little bit behind in supply, not by much, but of course you have to remember that Vortex has the troop production facilities, whereas RTY has the super expensive Void Rays. Void Rays are not cheap. 250 minerals, 150 gas this early in the game, that hurts. So definitely not going to have quite the same number of foot soldiers out on the ground. And he is doing a push out here. I wonder if this is a bit of a misread from RTY, though of course it will draw the main army away from the back here, allowing the Void Rays to put more pressure on that mineral line. Doing some damage, because Void Rays versus Stalkers, especially with only 2 Void Rays, now just Crony boosting out a 3rd, you know, you're not going to win with 3 Void Rays, certainly not against Stalkers there. And what have we got going down here? We do have a Twilight Council coming down from Vortex, so it looks like we're going, since we do have a Stalker heavy army, I would expect to see Blink get researched here pretty shortly. Not expecting Zealot charge, certainly not with Void Rays out on the field, you know. You can use the Blink to catch the Void Rays out, but the charge lots against Void Rays doesn't really do much, as you can imagine. Charging into battle against a unit that you can't even hit. So it looks like the game's kind of stalled out here for the time being. Void Rays still trying to do a little bit of harass. Haven't even touched the health of anything recently. You've got 4 kills on these Void Rays, so they're kind of, you know, they're definitely paying for themselves in the fact that they are pinning Vortex down in his base. They aren't letting him out. They're letting RTY put on some more pressure, but RTY just doesn't have the army here. He's wondering why the pressure hasn't come, but like he's only got 3-gate Stargate here. It's not really enough to go up against 4 Warp Gates that have been producing units pretty much constantly for quite a while now. And there we go, the Void Ray was trying to flank back in. Looks like he will divide up his Void Rays, trying to catch the Stalkers a little bit off guard. And there you go, he doesn't overcommit, only commits 2 Stalkers there. Looks like a little bit of an overcommitment now, and RTY does have a nice contain on his Protoss opponent, Vortex. Still choosing not to expand though, and there we go. Just as I say that, of course, the probe is moving down with that Nexus there, so that Nexus will be plonking down so that he can get that on the way, and still just bunching up the Void Rays, of course, you know, 4 Void Rays better than nothing. And it looks like we do have Vortex pushing out here now, and RTY is focusing mainly on this ground army. If he brought the Void Rays in right now, that would be able to do a huge amount of damage to his opponent. The Vortex has managed to push. Oh, it is going back and forth. I thought RTY had managed to push Vortex back into his base. RTY is now in full tactical retreat, and I don't think Vortex realizes this, that the Void Rays are actually chewing through his mineral line here. Let's take a look at the number of probe kills he's getting, and he isn't actually going for probe kills. Looks like he will be trying to snipe the Nexus. We'll see if RTY can bring down Vortex's Nexus. The Stalkers are moving out across the map though, so it looks like we do have a base trade situation going on here, but with no Nexus for Vortex, that will put him at a huge disadvantage. Got the Congo line of probes going out across the map, and we do have the sentries laying down the force field. It's a bit of a waste of a force field there, but it will stop the Blink Stalker Micro from going up the ramp, and he will be able to bring these Void Rays back in support against the Stalkers, possibly able to pin them down on the low ground. And of course, because Vortex has not rebuilt his main base, he will be revealed, which is a bit of an issue for Vortex. Though of course he does have enough minerals to rebuild that Nexus. He managed to save up 585. Not sure if that was actually purposeful, but it works nonetheless. And there we go. You do have the heavy support coming in from the Void Rays. Loses a Void Ray though. It looks like Vortex did manage to get vision of the high ground there somehow. And again, has vision of the high ground. Has to be careful with these Void Rays. Sentries continuing to lay down force fields there until he manages to get up a big enough of a ground army, though it looks like RTY is just producing sentries at this point. We're going for the mass sentry Void Ray build versus the super delayed 4-gate, the 4-gate that moved out on 12 minutes after losing its main Nexus. Certainly not standard play here, folks. And it looks like Vortex has not rebuilt his Nexus, has no intentions of doing so. So this attack is pretty much stalled out, and with every single force field that RTY manages to lay down, where Vortex isn't willing to blink up onto the high ground, that is of course giving RTY the advantage because, well, he's still mining minerals. It's kind of basic mathematics there. It's not that complicated to, but you know, I still think it's kind of worth pointing out. Does have a Void Ray chilling. It was just kind of chilling out behind this mineral line. Realizes, I don't think he even realizes that, yeah, and there we go. Finally the Nexus gets rebuilt from Vortex here. At least he tries. And then he moves all of his probes to the back. I'm very confused by Vortex's play down here right now. There we go, finally laying down the Nexus. And it looks like we still have an engagement from the Stalkers here. Pulling the Void Rays back just because they're such expensive units and they're... Ooh, very, very poor force field there from RTY. Totally misses the ram. And it looks like we will have a major engagement here, though with the help of the Void Rays and of course Defender's Advantage, being able to warp in units on the high ground, RTY is managing to hold this, though not by much. The Blink Stalker Micro from Vortex is proving to be difficult for RTY to handle. And there we go, one Void Ray is sniped down. We do still have 2 more Void Rays left, though the Stalker count from RTY is getting frighteningly low. And there we go, there's the last Stalker down. He is chrono boosting out those warp gates, is going to be trying to produce units soon. There we go, there's a warp in of Stalkers, going to try and save this last Void Ray. Does he have any Void Rays producing out of the Stargate? No, he does not. He has a huge number of minerals saved up, almost no gas. You think he probably should have laid down another warp gate, and there's the GG. Kind of a surprising GG there from Vortex, of course, because the Nexus was not finished and he hadn't rebuilt it earlier. Doesn't allow him to follow that 4-gate pressure up with anything. Losing the last Stalker there. I'd have said the GG was pretty much at the point where he forgot to lay down the Nexus. You know, there's not really much to come back from with 4 minutes down on your opponent. Though of course the supplies managed to remain pretty similar, 31 to 22 supply, which is, you know, pretty interesting there. But of course, you know, RTY limiting the number of warp gates he laid down, which I wonder if a bit of a mistake, hovering at 3,000 minerals, you know, just thrown down 3 more quick warp gates, gotten in some zealots, that could have made the difference, and of course eaten up some of those minerals. The Void Ray play along the back of the base proving to be very effective, despite what I originally thought. I wasn't actually honestly expecting for Vortex to be that delayed on the 4-gate. I would have thought that he'd had, as soon as warp gate technology was done, there was going to be a pylon down, and bam, he was going to be in RTY's base, which the Void Rays would have gotten absolutely shredded with only 1 Stalker on the ground. Taking a look, see if I can find that again. The point where... No, it's a little bit... Oh, I think I might have gone too far there. I just want to take another look at this, though, because I thought it was kind of important. Okay, so we have the Void Ray coming out, we have Warp Gate technology being chrono boosted out, and here we go, Warp Gate technology almost finished, the 4 gates are up, so he'll be able to go, and RTY has nothing on the ground. Absolutely nothing. He has a Void Ray up in the air, he does not have, okay, he does have 1 Stalker, sorry, I am corrected, one army unit on the ground for RTY here, and because the 4 gate's so delayed from Vortex, he does get pinned in his base by these, let's just slow that down again so I can actually talk. He does get pinned in his base by these Void Rays. So I'd say the Void Rays were a very good choice, given the circumstances. But I think that if Vortex had managed to move earlier with that 4-gate, the Stargate play would have gotten absolutely smashed by RTY. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this after-the-fact replay from the oSa clan. Thank you very much to RTY from the oSa clan for submitting my details to his clan members to go ahead and submit replays to me. And, of course, giving me this awesome game, which is way more amusing than any of the games I ever play. Like, my games are just so boring, you know, with gold level. You try and macro up and it's like a 45 friggin' minute game of siege tanks not moving. Because you just don't have the micro to control them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the replay, and I will talk to you guys later.